Thank you for joining us today for the Decedent Estates interview with Rob McMonigal. I would like to welcome Rob today, COO of Entrustment Northwest, as our guest.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Rob is here to discuss an important topic that touches many lives, managing a decedent's estate. He will explore what it means to manage a decedent's estate and the unique advantages of working with a state chartered trust company like Entrustment. Thank you, Rob, for your time today and your expertise on the subject.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
First off, can you tell me a little bit about your background and your experience?
Absolutely. So my primary background before coming to Entrustment Northwest is primarily in the areas of human resources and financial aid, including being a financial aid department director at one point in time. I joined Entrustment Northwest in 2014. I've served in a variety of capacities here at Entrustment, including moving into a trust officer role, now a senior executive trust officer, as well as assuming COO duties several years ago. My role here primarily consists of overseeing the specific clients that are assigned to me as the primary trust officer, as well as overall oversight of the operations of the entire company, including the smooth and efficient handling of all client accounts.
Wow, that's a lot. Rob, when we talk about managing a decedent's estate, what exactly does that entail? Can you break down some of the core responsibilities involved?
Yeah, absolutely. So the short version is that a decedent's estate typically is what most people would think of as a will. And in a will, you name someone to be your executor, or as it is referred to in legal terms, a personal representative. And the short version is that particular person is responsible for compiling all of the assets of the decedent, making sure that all expenses, debts, and other things owed by the decedent are paid, making sure that everything is in order, and then filing to have the estate closed and the distributions made to the beneficiary. This variety of tasks is going to include things such as taking control of bank statements, taking control of investment accounts. It can involve real property if there is real property owned by the decedent. It involves ensuring all the taxes are paid, that you confirm that there are no debts owed, or if there are debts owed, ensure that those are paid, making sure that any specialized assets the person may have, whether that's an art collection, coin collection, vehicles, could be mineral rights. There's a wide variety of things that are involved, and every state is a little bit different. The regulations remain the same, but the amount of time and work involved in that administration is going to change from case to case, ranging from those that are less complex that might involve a bank statement and an investment account only, versus those that involve all of the things that I just described and possibly even more.
With so many responsibilities and legal considerations, it's easy to see how families might feel overwhelmed. What are some of the common challenges people face in managing estates on their own?
So one of the challenges is simply knowledge based. At Entrustment Northwest, we have been working on decedent estates for over 40 years now. We have extensive experience and knowledge on how to do so. We have attorney partners that guide us through the process if we run into situations with which we are unfamiliar. But the short version is really knowledge and expertise. As I mentioned just a few moments ago, there are a lot of things that go into ensuring that a will is properly followed, and it must be followed to the letter. And where a layperson, I think, could really run into issues is simply not understanding how a particular aspect works. So, for example, they might say, I know this person didn't have any debts, so I'm not, I won't worry about that creditor's claim. And then lo and behold, it turns out that that person had an outstanding medical debt that they were not aware of. And while they're trying to close the estate, that particular medical company comes back and goes to the court and says, there's an outstanding debt owed. And now everything is thrown into delay while that matter is resolved. And that's just one small example of different things that can occur. And so while it is certainly possible for a layperson to do the work, it can be very challenging if you don't know all the things you need to look for.
Yeah, that seems like you have a lot of knowledge, and families put a lot of trust in you. Entrustment Northwest is a state chartered trust company, which is unique in the region. Could you explain how being state chartered gives you an edge in handling decedents of the state, especially here in Washington and Oregon?
Yeah, absolutely. So the biggest thing is the fact that as a state chartered trust company, we are regulated on a state level the same as a larger bank. So all of the regulations that are involved with your massive, got a location on every street corner bank are the same regulations that we have to follow. And because of that, that means that just like those larger banks, you're not required to be bonded to do this work. One thing that people may not be aware of is the fact that when you go to administer an estate, you may, obviously it depends on the circumstance, but you may be required to post a bond because you're dealing with potentially hundreds of thousands of assets or even higher. At Entrustment Northwest, we don't have to do that. Bonding is a lengthy process. It involves additional restrictions and regulations. And honestly, not everyone can be bonded, even if you have generally good credit. So you need to be careful about that particular circumstance. And so really and truly, the two biggest advantages for our company as opposed to doing it individually is that we don't need that bonding, and then also that we have that regulation, which ensures that families that have trusted us to be their personal representative know that we will do everything accurately and to the letter.
How does the Entrustment Northwest team-based approach make a difference in estate administration? What benefits do the beneficiaries and clients of estate planners experience when working with you?
So, as you may or may not be familiar with, those of you who are listening, Entrustment Northwest works on what's referred to as an agency model. What that means is that we have a wide variety of people who are able to work on more than one aspect of a particular matter at the same time. So again, going back to utilizing an individual, that individual could know how to do everything right, but they can only attack it one step at a time, right? They cannot be both at the bank and at the investment company and talking to the IRS and working with a realtor on selling the property at the same time. Entrustment Northwest can do that. We have a trained staff who specialize in specific areas of state administration, which means that when we have a case with multiple aspects, such as what I just described, we can be working on all those items simultaneously, allowing us to complete the estate administration far faster than a single individual.
So, for families or individuals considering a professional trustee, what would you say are the key reasons to trust Entrustment Northwest to manage their estate?
So I think it goes to a number of factors. First and foremost, I'm going to refer back to the fact that we are chartered as a trust company here in the state of Washington and as an out-of-state chartered trust company in the state of Oregon. That means that, again, we are regulated and everything we do, we are answerable to the Department of Financial Institutions to ensure we are doing them correctly. Secondly, we have the experience. Entrustment Northwest has been in existence for over 40 years, and we bring a wealth of knowledge and expertise to this area, enabling us to successfully complete estates on a regular basis. And then again, finally, we have the ability to work in such a way that an individual cannot to ensure, again, that things are handled quickly and efficiently and utilizing that specialized knowledge of our team, as I mentioned earlier.
Thank you very much for your time today, Rob.
Oh, absolutely. My pleasure. Thank you.
Again, Rob is the COO and Senior Executive Trust Officer for Entrustment Northwest. If you're an attorney, financial advisor, or family looking for guidance, Entrustment Northwest is here to provide expertise, a team-based approach, and personalized service to ensure your estate plan is administered with personalized service. We'd love to hear from you and explore how we can help you make estate administration a smoother process. Thank you for watching, and if you have any questions or want more information concerning managing a decedent's estate or any other trust or fiduciary services, reach out to Entrustment at 360 694 5177. Thank you and have a great day.